All right, let's go to this story first, then we'll get you to some breaking news in Seattle in just a moment. And we're just learning that a helicopter for King, the TV station there in Seattle, has crashed near the Space Needle. We're getting information on that for you now, and we'll try to bring you some pictures in a moment. Absolutely a worst case scenario for anyone in the news coverage business. Here we go. This is a look. They're on the ground at the scene. This is in Seattle near the Space Needle, and the smoking wreckage you see there is what we're told the remains of a helicopter that belongs to television station King, K-I-N-G, a long time station there in Seattle. And here we have a reporter on scene there. Let's listen in. Okay. That reporter is not aware that we're trying to go to him at this time. But again, the situation is that the helicopter, a news gathering helicopter, just like we have here with Skyforce 10 and that you see in many large television markets, has apparently crashed in Seattle on the ground there near the Space Needle. And we don't have reports in yet of any casualties at this time, but it does look like there is some smoking wreckage there in the background. We're starting to see pictures come out on social media as well, showing the very intense flames that erupted after that helicopter crash landed there in Seattle. And we are also trying to connect you with a live report here from that city as the crew there gets in position. Again, we're told that this happened near the Space Needle, obviously a big landmark and tourist attraction there in the Seattle area during what was a routine newscast for KING. And we're going to also be speaking with one of our reporters, Matt DeLucia, is gathering some information for us as well. There you see the emergency response on the scene there. Firefighters with some protective gear, some of them just putting it on, some taking it off. We do know that the helicopter fell on 2 cars, apparently, and that's part of the situation. Let's go to NBC10's Matt DeLucia with the latest on this breaking situation. Matt, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Chris, good morning. We're following this breaking story for you. We understand this happened just within the past half hour in Seattle. And, of course, you've been talking about some of those details. We're getting those details as they're coming into our newsroom right now. But what we know at this point is a news helicopter crashed on top of at least 1 car, possibly 2 cars. One of the affiliates there in Seattle, KOMO-TV, says that 2 vehicles were struck in this crash, and this is a news helicopter that was shared by King TV, the NBC station out there, and KOMO-TV. But at this point, we do understand that there is a lot of smoke and a lot of fire, and this happened right by the Space Needle. You're looking at a live picture there right now, and of course, this is very much developing right now, so we're waiting to get new details, new information. We don't have any reports at this point on any injuries or any fatalities. At this point, fire crews are rushing to the scene, news crews are rushing to the scene. You just saw a few moments ago that reporter there setting up, so of course it is very much a busy scene at that point right now. But you know, you talk about a very busy area right there, downtown Seattle, right by the Space Needle, and we do understand that there are some vehicles involved here as well. So there is a lot of activity down there right now. You see some of the emergency crews that have responded. You can imagine that a lot of these crews are being kept quite a distance back, a lot of the television stations, as they're trying to get more information as to what happened out here. But we don't understand at this point if there is just a pilot in this helicopter, or if it is one of those things where you have a pilot, a photographer, and a reporter in there. So at this point, we're still just trying to get new details on injuries, but just what we know at this point is a news helicopter. I understand from our control room right now, we do have some photographs for you. These just came into our newsroom, and you can see just a flaming wreckage there right now. When you have a news helicopter, there's a lot of fuel that is carried in those helicopters, and you see that there right now, just hitting the ground, just bursting into flames. So the firefighters, of course, they're trying to get all those flames put out, trying to get water on there, and also trying to tend to the victims of this crash. And of course, we're talking about not just in that helicopter, but also anyone who was on the ground, the people in those vehicles, anyone who may have been walking around at that time. But this is right by Seattle Center, and what we know at this point is that KOMO-TV, the station out there, KOMO, confirmed that it is their helicopter, and it was being used in a joint partnership between KOMO and King 5. That is the NBC station out there in Seattle. And what KOMO is saying right now is that 2 vehicles were struck in this crash, and huge flames and plumes of black smoke could be seen pouring from that wreckage. And so right now, we're trying to get new details. Right now, we're just finding out that 1 man is in critical condition. Just new information coming into our newsroom. We have people in there right now making phone calls and trying to get the latest information. Of course, this is a critical situation when you have something like this happen. It hits the news business. We, of course, have a helicopter here. It hits us pretty hard when we see something like this. And of course, for those people who are in the helicopter and on the ground who suffered some injuries, you know, this is a very unfortunate situation, and of course something that we will be following. But right now what we know is 1 man is in critical condition as a result of this news helicopter crash. And of course we've been having some video come into our newsroom as well. And we're going to continue following this story. And as soon as we get any new developments, we will be sure to pass that along. But for now, that's the latest here live in the Digital Operations Center. I'm Matt DeLucia, NBC10 News.
Handling that information as it rolled in. And let's go now to our Vince Lattanzio with some more information on this crash here. Vince?
Yeah, well, Chris, we've been looking at our social discovery app, Banjo, and it's taking us down to the scene there. So if we can take the big monitor full again, I can show you some pictures that are coming in from the scene there immediately after this crash. And a lot of stuff, a lot of people have been tweeting about it. People weren't sure if it was a fire or an explosion. And then when people got closer, it turned out that they saw here, it looks what appears to be the tail portion of a helicopter right there that we've confirmed is the news helicopter there from KOMO and King TV. So this is the picture of the wreckage immediately after that crash there. And as we cycle through, I'm just going to cycle through some of the photos that we're seeing from people on the scene there. You can see that fire crews were able to extinguish that blaze fairly quickly. It looks like it landed and it affected a car on the left-hand side of your screen right there. And then there was another car right in front of where those firefighters are there on the scene. This is a view from right across the way from the Space Needle. You can see that the wreckage is flaming there. It's right in front of those trees. It landed right in a street there, right around the Space Needle there in downtown Seattle. And then this is a view from further away. We're not looking at these pictures live just in case some sort of content comes up that we don't want to air right away without looking at it. But for these pictures were coming in just moments ago, and we can see here the big black plume of smoke that is rising there in Seattle right after this helicopter crash. And again, this is the closest picture that we've seen there from the scene. You can see the tail portion of that helicopter right there, and you can see that a car is on fire. What we know right now is that 1 person was critically injured in this. Obviously, it's a developing situation, so things will be changing. We'll be getting new information and new details. We do have reporters on the scene there from our station, King TV, there in Seattle, and we're going to continue looking at what people are posting on social media, and I'll be back in just a moment with some more pictures. Chris?
All right, Vince, again, just to recap real quick for people at home, this is a helicopter owned by Seattle television station KOMO, K-O-M-O. It was also shared by King, but the chopper is owned by KOMO, and it crashed at Fisher Plaza near the Space Needle just a few minutes ago this morning, and we are told that at least 1 person, a 37-year-old man, has critical injuries. We'll stay on top of this and bring you any new developments as they happen. Back now with more on that breaking news out of Seattle, where a news helicopter crashed next to the Space Needle, and the Seattle Fire Department just tweeted that 2 people have been killed in this crash, and we're going to get more now from NBC10's Vince Lattanzio. Vince?
Yeah, Chris, we're seeing some of the first video from the scene there. We were showing you pictures and still pictures from the scene, but now we have the first video. Let's go right to it. This was posted just immediately after the crash. You can see that it happened right after it landed on at least 1, 2, 3 cars there at the scene. You can see that emergency vehicles were just rolling up on that scene right after the crash. You can see people just staring in disbelief at what's happening, and of course the flames are burning so intensely there. I'm going to re-cue this video for us. you can see that they're burning so intensely that, you know, nobody wants to get too close. And it appears, it looks like some sort of fire, maybe from jet fuel, that leaked out of the flame and went down the street there near the sidewalk. Again, this is on the street there in Seattle, right near the plaza by the Space Needle. We know that a helicopter, news helicopter from KOMO-TV station there, went down onto the street here. We know that one person is in critical condition, a 37-year-old man, and we know that fire crews are obviously on the scene trying to handle this developing situation. From some of the social media pictures that we saw immediately after and from some of the coverage from our sister station in Seattle, we know that the fire is now out, but obviously this is a developing situation. So we're going to continue to look at more pictures and bring them to you as they're coming. Chris?
All right, Vince, I just want to add to that and say that our NBC station there, King, K-I-N-G, which did jointly use that helicopter as well, although the helicopter is owned by KOMO, the another TV station there. I want to add that King is now reporting that not only were 2 people killed, that a 37-year-old man in one of those cars that the helicopter landed on, a 37-year-old man was critically injured. We'll bring you more information as it develops on this situation in Seattle here. All right, to the situation with the Malaysia. Okay, we're going to stay with this for a moment here in Seattle. We're going to stay on the scene there, our NBC station, KING. And if you'll put that video back up, I'm going to go back to the desk where I'm getting some more information on our laptop over here. But our NBC station affiliate there in Seattle, KING, reporting that 2 people have been killed in that helicopter crash, and a 37-year-old man who was inside one of the cars that the helicopter came crashing down on was critically injured. He somehow pulled himself out of the car. Let's go to NBC10's Matt DeLucia with more on this developing story. Matt?
Yeah, Chris, that's the latest information we have right now. 2 people dead and 1 man transported to the hospital. What we understand, just new information right now, directly from KOMO-TV, KOMO in Seattle, is that initial reports were that 4 vehicles were involved and that this happened right by Fisher Plaza, which is right by the Space Needle, as you can see right there. And just in that shot, you see the Space Needle there off to the right, and KOMO's building is right off there to the left. And what we understand is that there is a helipad on top of that building, and that is where this helicopter lands and takes off. At this point, we're not sure if it was landing or taking off at that moment, but that position right there next to the television station. Of course, this is all still under investigation, but just we're learning new details as the seconds go by, and you're looking at these live pictures right now where we see the firefighters and all those crews that are stationed around that area right now. And from what I can see there, it does appear, I don't see any flames or any smoke from this vantage point. Of course, that doesn't mean that the fire is out. It may still very much be burning, but I'm looking at the satellite video just as it's coming in along with you folks at home. And from this point, it does look like there is a large area where this is all taped off. And as the crews are arriving on the scene to try to get those people out of their vehicles and out of that helicopter. But we understand that 37-year-old man who was taken to the hospital, he was able to get out of the car on his own. Of course, this is coming from information from the Seattle television stations, but this is all happening right in the heart of downtown Seattle, where you have the Space Needle and you have this television station, KOMO, which is right next to it, and where this helicopter, which is shared by KOMO and King TV, the NBC station in Seattle, that is where that helicopter takes off and lands. Right now, we are just getting new information here, just passed along to me from the newsroom, that KOMO confirmed that it is their helicopter. It was being used in a joint partnership between KOMO and King 5. We have known that information for quite some time, but the Seattle Fire Department has been tweeting that a 37-year-old man taken to Harborview Medical Center in critical condition. That man was in one of the vehicles. So we're still not sure of the condition of any of the people who were inside that helicopter. We don't know how many were in that helicopter. Some television stations have a photographer and a pilot. Other stations have a reporter in there. You see a reporter from one of the stations there getting ready to do a live shot out there. Of course, this is a very frantic situation that is going on there right now. We're trying to get new details as they are trying to get new details. We're getting our information from them, so you can keep it right here on NBC10 because we're going to try to get the latest information for you. But actually, we just found out that the station, KOMO, says that the helicopter was coming in for a landing on the rooftop early this morning. We understand this just happened within the past 30 to 45 minutes. So we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to keep an eye on the satellite feeds here live in the Digital Operations Center, but that's the latest here. I'm Matt DeLucia, NBC 10 News. Chris?
Okay, again, 2 confirmed deaths, at least 1 injury this morning, at least what is morning time there in Seattle in this helicopter crash. We're going to stay on top of that and bring you the latest as we continue. We'll be right back. Back now to the breaking news out of Seattle, where a news helicopter has crashed right at the foot of the Space Needle there on Broad Street. If you're familiar with the city, 2 people at this point, 2 people have been confirmed killed. We're now being told that there were 3 people aboard that helicopter when it took off from one of the television stations there, KOMO, which is located right there near the Space Needle. 3 people were being told were on board. We don't know yet if the 2 fatalities were 2 of the 3 that are on board that helicopter. We do know that the helicopter actually crashed on 2 cars. When it hit the ground, it also hit 2 cars, and the helicopter caught fire. There was a massive fire. There was 1 man, at least, in one of the cars that was critically injured. He was seen actually on fire. His clothing was. He was seen running from the wreckage. And here are some pictures we're getting in now. This is through social media. And again, this is Broad Street in Seattle, right there at Fisher Plaza, near the Space Needle. And this is a helicopter that was owned by KOMO, jointly used by KOMO and King, and it was taking off from KOMO, from the helipad there. It had, we're assuming that since it was taking off and it had 3 people on board, that it had just picked up a reporter, because that, as we can tell you in our business, is the typical procedure. The helicopter lands near the station, and the helicopter has a crew of a pilot and a camera operator on board, and then a reporter sometimes joins the crew. And so with the news that there are 3 people on board this chopper when it went down, that leads us to assume that they had just picked up the reporter and were taking off. Let's go over to NBC10's Vince Latanzio, who can give us a better aerial view of where this happened. Vince.
Yeah, well, Chris, we're looking at a Google map, actually, of the sky there through our social discovery app, Banjo. And I'm just going to draw on this map here and just show you a little bit of what the area looks like. Let me change the color so it'll be easier for you to see. This is Broad Street right here. So that's where the helicopter landed. And if I can zoom in here on this map, as we zoom in, I'm going to circle it for you right now. This is the helipad in question. And from this, unfortunately, from this satellite view, you can see there's actually a helicopter on that helipad right now when they took this Google Sky View. Now, let's go to some of the pictures from the area there. This is the new picture that just came into us, just was posted to social media right after. You can see that fire crews on the scene there have set up a command center. They have set up an investigation area. They put a tent out, and you can still see the tail section of, you can see a tail section there of the helicopter that landed there on Broad Street. Now, as we move along, let's see some more pictures. This was a picture of the, what was the smoke plume from the area from far away, and you can see the Space Needle in the distance. The Space Needle is just across the street from where this was. This, of course, is immediately following that crash, and you can see how intense the flames are there. It landed on at least 3 cars we know. 1 person was in one of those cars, as Chris mentioned, and he was able to get himself out. He is in critical condition. We do know that local authorities are telling our NBC News stations that there were at least 3 people on board the aircraft. We know that 2 people are confirmed dead. You can see fire crews quickly went and started putting out those flames. flames and were able to. This is another close-up view of the wreckage there immediately after, as they were dousing the area with foam and other kinds of sand and things like that. We know the jet fuel is involved, obviously, from this, so they have been dumping sand, they tell us. Crews on the scene tell our sister station in Seattle that they've been dumping sand on those flames there. This is a view looking towards the Space Needle there in Fisher Plaza. And this is a video that we've showed you a little bit earlier. I'm going to show it to you again and put it full screen. This is immediately after the crash. And you can see here, this here appears to be jet fuel that is going down the road there, and we know that fire crews on the scene there have told us that they have been putting sand down to make sure that they sop up all of that jet fuel, which of course can be also dangerous and highly flammable. One more time, I'm going to bring it full for you. And again, this is the scene there on Broad Street. The television station is to the right of your, the right of the screen there, right from the direction of where this person is shooting the video. And you can see fire crews and emergency vehicles as they're coming up. They're slowing down and trying to make sure. Some people who were on the scene there have said that they heard some small explosions afterwards, probably a combination of the cars that were there, the gasoline that was in there, and also the jet fuel that was involved. So these are some of the pictures that we're seeing as they're coming into us from the area there. We're going to continue to look at these pictures and get more for you, and of course, as soon as they're posted, we will have them right here on NBC10 and on NBC10.com and all of our digital apps. We're following this full circle on TV, online, and on your mobile device. Chris.
Vince, thanks for that perspective. Let's go now to NBC10's Matt DeLucia, who is in our, let's go back now to the set here. We're going to talk to Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz about the weather conditions that were occurring at the time of this crash.
Well, Seattle is notorious for bad weather, but today was not one of those days. The weather was generally fair. The wind was only 5 miles an hour, temperature about 40 degrees. Now, they did have a fairly low cloud deck, but if the crash occurred right after takeoff, it probably never got up to that level of any kind of clouds. So without any wind to speak of or precipitation, the weather is obviously not a factor in this.
Well, we use news helicopters every day, almost every day in this business, and our thoughts are definitely with the crews and employees there at the stations at KOMO.
Well, Chris, you know, back in 1972, when Hurricane Agnes affected Pennsylvania, the helicopter of WCAU crashed after that storm, when they were going to do reports on it. And so this station itself has a history of witnessing a tragedy with a helicopter.
Well, it happened this morning, just about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, in Seattle at probably the most prominent landmark, one of the most prominent in the country, the base of the Space Needle. News helicopter crashing. We're told that it had just taken off from the TV station KOMO there, had 3 people on board. We know that 2 people have been confirmed dead. We have not confirmed that 2 of those people were on board the helicopter, but we do know that 3 vehicles on the ground were involved. The helicopter crashed on 2 vehicles, a third caught fire, and another person was injured. Vince Latanzio, I don't know if we can go to him yet, but he has a really great picture that will illustrate the landing pad and the helicopter there that took off, the launching pad there, Vince.
Yeah, Chris, so we want to start this by saying this is not from today. This is actually from yesterday, according to the person who posted it online. But we wanted to give you a vantage point of what it kind of looks like down there and how the helipad operated, what was around that area from this downtown television station. And we're going to it full right now, so I'm just going to show you this right here, this circular area up there. That is the helipad up there, and that is the railing that keeps people from going towards the edge of that helipad. And as you can see, the helicopter takes off that helipad and looks like they go in that direction, taking off towards what appears to be towards the sound there. So this is just a view of what that looks like downtown there in Seattle. Chris?
11:45, let's get you back to this breaking news. And this is Skyforce 10 bringing us this image. Actually, we're going back to the breaking scene in Seattle. We've had a lot of breaking news this morning. This is the wreckage of the news helicopter, KOMO's helicopter, that crashed at the foot of the Space Needle, bursting into flames, landing on top of 2 cars. 2 people have been confirmed dead, 1 person critically injured. We'll stay on top of this and bring you the latest out of Seattle. And here's actually a picture from the ground there. You can see the emergency response. And this again happened on Broad Street at the foot of the Space Needle, right outside not far from where the helicopter took off at the TV station KOMO. Again, 2 people confirmed dead in that. Back to the breaking news out of Seattle now, where a news helicopter has crashed, killing 2 people. Let's listen into this news conference with the fire department.
Right now, I can barely tell there's a helicopter there. We haven't been able to get that close. What can you tell us about the wreckage that is left now from this?
Well, we've got we've got wreckage strewn across the lawn, along with wreckage on the street. We've cordoned off a wide area. We want to give the NTSB where all the evidence is, so they can put it all together, the chain of events, what exactly happened. And so the helicopter, what we have left is basically just a part of the tail and a burnout metal from the main chassis of the helicopter.
Can you give us any additional information on how, if you know how this type of fuel burns or combusts when something like this happens?
I don't know. I could check and get back to you guys on it. I'm not a fuel expert, but I know I have some people here.
Okay, we're going to pull away from that just to reset the scene for you. They're getting into some specifics there, but again, this is a news helicopter that belonged to TV station KOMO, KOMO. It crashed apparently after taking off from the TV station near the Space Needle, burning wreckage. It landed on 2 cars. 2 people were killed, 1 injured. Let's go to NBC10's Vince Latanzio. Vince?
Yeah, Chris, we're getting some new pictures from the scene there. And so we're getting some new pictures from the scene there, and this is just a view of one of those cars where one of those people were in. We're not sure if it was that car, but we're getting from 2 different vantage points there. Obviously, just a sad situation down there. Again, we're having all of these pictures on NBC10.com, and we're carrying that press conference live. Chris?
Thank you, Vince. Again, to reiterate what he just said, we are carrying the news conference that you just heard us listen to a portion of. We're carrying that on NBC10.com, continuing coverage there. And of course, at 4 p.m. this evening, we'll have the very latest and some more information on exactly how this happened, what happened, and the 2 people who are confirmed dead, where those people were from, and exactly what occurred when that helicopter crashed there.